Mick Schumacher has signed on as Mercedes reserve driver for 2023, although there is the possibility of a longer future for him, given that Lewis Hamilton's contract will expire soon. Would he take Hamilton's spot on the team? Let's find out. Following Haas's decision to replace Mick Schumacher with Nico Hülkenberg for the 2023 season, Mick was left without a seat for the coming season. The young German recently signed with the Silver Arrows as a reserve driver for the 2023 season. It was the best role available to him because every other seat for next year had already been filled. According to Mercedes, Mick Schumacher will be present at every Grand Prix in 2023 in his capacity as a reserve driver. He will be prepared to take the place of either Lewis Hamilton or George Russell should either of those drivers be unable to compete in a race for any reason. But barring that possibility, his time spent behind the wheel of a Formula One car would be restricted due to the fact that Russell has a long-term commitment, and Hamilton is expected to extend his present contract. But Ralf Schumacher is certain that his nephew Mick Schumacher has what it takes to replace Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes when the iconic British driver retires. Also, Mick is scheduled to play a part in the ongoing development of the W14 throughout the year 2023. This will involve regular work in the simulator located in Brackley, during which he will assist George Russell and Lewis Hamilton in optimizing their respective setups in preparation for a Grand Prix weekend. Hamilton publicly welcomed Schumacher to the team after the news was announced before Christmas. But the British driver made it quite plain that it is highly doubtful that he would spend a great deal of time with the 23-year-old driver. He said, "You don't work that closely with the third driver anymore. It's a lot of simulator work and not like it used to be, even though we'll still be teammates." For Hamilton, it's unclear how long he plans to remain in Formula One, with his current contract expiring at the end of 2023. He's set to sign an extension before the new season starts, but it could potentially be his last in Formula One, opening up a door at Mercedes to replace the 7-time world champion. And Ralf Schumacher thinks that his nephew will be in an excellent position to assume the seat alongside Russell when the time comes. Ralf said, "It's a great opportunity for Mick. He can watch a top team and learn a lot. It's not just a role as a test driver where he can help Mercedes back to the top from the simulator. Also, a spare role where he can replace someone. We've had this enough in the last 3 years. Although Lewis is still an absolute top driver, but he's not that young anymore. You never know. In any case, I think it's a win-win situation for the team and for Mick." You're enjoying this video, right? You definitely don't want to miss out on other amazing videos. So all you have to do is hit the subscription button. It's that easy. Thanks for doing that. Let's move on. Ralf Schumacher's preference would have been for Mick to find a seat on the grid for the 2023 season. However, he acknowledges that his relationship with Haas was not meant to be and that it was for the best of both of them to have moved on. He added, "Another season with a permanent cockpit would have been better, of course, because driving is still the best thing for further development. On the other hand, with Haas, he lacked the necessary support. It would have been very difficult for him. If a team boss doesn't believe in a driver, you should split up. From a purely sporting point of view, Mick's curve was clearly pointing upwards. Therefore, one does not necessarily have to understand Haas's decision. Anyway, under these circumstances, it was the optimal solution for Mick. Mick has also been linked with Audi, as the car manufacturer is believed to want a German driver for when Sauber becomes its works team from the 2026 season. Referencing that, Ralf added Audi would definitely make sense for Mick and Audi, but something could also happen at Mercedes. Ralf believes that any Mercedes opportunity would depend on how well George Russell performs against Hamilton, as the Briton looks to assert himself as the team's number one in the future. He added, "Let's assume George Russell is faster than Lewis Hamilton again. Will he, Hamilton, then continue it all? That will be exciting to see. But Lewis has so much credit with Mercedes that he can decide for himself. In any case, the money won't be a factor for him. He has more than enough of that. The decisive factor will be who suits the new car better." Team boss Toto, who had sung Schumacher's praises towards the end of the 2022, when rumors of such a link-up first emerged, said the team are delighted to have secured his talents. He said, "Mick is a talented young driver, and we're delighted to have him join the team. He is a hard worker, has a calm and methodical approach, and is still hungry to learn and improve as a driver. These are all important qualities, and we're excited for him to help us develop the W14. We also know that with 2 years of experience racing in Formula One under his belt, he will be ready to step into the car at short notice to replace either Lewis or George, should that need arise." The last time a Mercedes driver could not take part in a race was at the 2020 Sakir Grand Prix, when Lewis Hamilton tested positive for COVID-19. As a result, the driver for Williams at the time, George Russell, was asked to step in and race alongside Valtteri Bottas. Russell turned in an outstanding performance during the race, during which he was a genuine contender for the win until a late puncture. This played a significant role in him eventually securing the full-time race seat alongside Lewis Hamilton. It's possible that the same thing will happen to Mick Schumacher. Mick's new place of employment is where his father, Michael, finished his Formula One career 10 years ago. Schumacher Sr., who had retired from Ferrari and Formula One at the end of 2006, could not resist the racetrack call when Mercedes returned to F1 for the 2010 season under the hand of Ross Brawn. Schumacher formed a partnership with the former Ferrari driver in an effort to bring success to the three-pointed star. Although Schumacher and Brawn had a productive few years working together, Brackley's greatest achievements came after Schumacher had officially retired and after Brawn had been succeeded as team head by Toto Wolff. Schumacher had also previously raced with Mercedes, establishing links with the German marquee when he raced for Sauber Mercedes in world sports cars at the turn of the 1990s. It's in this history that Schumacher Jr. is hoping to reignite the legacy his father left at the team following his retirement. Mick said, "It means a lot. I mean, my dad has been part of this team from 2010 until 2012. Obviously, it was a lot of the foundations of what it's today, so I'm very proud to be part of now. Hopefully, I'll be able to help them to go forwards and progress and contribute my knowledge to it." He continued, "I've always felt very close to Mercedes, not only because of the history with my family, but also just because of F3 and the time that I got to spend here when I was younger. And yeah, just the relationship that I have with Toto as well. So I feel very, very happy to be a part of it. Even though it's not as the main driver, but I'm sure it's going to be just as important to contribute to it and give it my all. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I saw the development that the W13 has gone through this year and the steps it has taken over the course of the year, from a difficult start to a race-winning car. So I'm excited about next year to see what is possible, and hopefully I'll be able to contribute a good amount to it, and hopefully we'll be able to fight for the World Championships at the end of the year." Mick Schumacher will be trying to replicate the recent success that Alex Albon had, who, despite losing his seat with Red Bull at the end of 2020, impressed enough in his reserve position in 2021 to gain a return to Formula One for 2022. Nico Hülkenberg, who replaced Mick Schumacher at Haas, previously served as a reserve driver for Racing Point Aston Martin for 3 years. During that time, he showed enough promise in his limited track time for Racing Point Aston Martin that he was given serious consideration for a full-time race seat. After being bought out of his contract with McLaren, Daniel Ricciardo is also striving to achieve similar results. The Australian driver has decided to accept a third driver role with Red Bull for 2023, rather than look for a race seat with a team that is lower in the standings. How real is Ralf Schumacher's ideas remains to be seen. It is difficult to fathom how a driver who was fired from Haas would be given the opportunity to race for a good team like Mercedes in 2024. In addition, Hamilton has made it clear that he would want to extend his current deal, which is set to expire at the end of 2023. This would leave absolutely no space for the German to have some track time. What are your thoughts on Ralf's statements regarding Mick taking Hamilton's place? Let me know in the comments section below. That will be all for today's video. Thanks for staying tuned. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you can always get to watch more amazing videos like this. See you in the next video.